Okay, so here we are in the third part now, looking at the second octave. So I left off last time with 4-note chords, major seventh, great one to build from. What you've now got is the eighth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, eighth. Start the second octave. So you've got the eighth, you've got the ninth, you've got the flattened ninth, you've got the sharpened ninth. The 10th you can play, but really it's just a third, an octave higher, look. Then you've got the 11th, which is a fourth, an octave higher. That gets played around with a lot. And then the 5th, well, the 12th is the 5th, is not really used. But the 6th, the 13th, does get used. So really, in this extra octave here, you want to be looking at the 9th, playing around with it, and the 11th, and the 13th. They're the ones that you're going to see mentioned. So now you know the extra notes. 9, 11 and 13. How do you work it with this first octave? Well, you could just play plain vanilla C and then add the 9. C9, that works. C11 doesn't work quite so well. C13. But if you play around with the choices of chord underneath, you can really make the thing sing. For example, a major ninth uses the major seventh. You can also work with the dominant seventh or flattened seventh for a kind of bluesy ninth, and it's a lovely little ending chord, a 6-9 you can play. You can flatten that ninth, works quite well with the dominant seventh, flattened seventh, as a passing chord. Like that, for example. Then you can sharpen the ninth for that famous Jimmy Hendrix chord, which is a C. Well, it was an E7 actually, but let's stick in C. C7 sharp 9. Clashy. So that's quite a nice chord. So they're the ninths, the three ninths: ninth, flattened ninth, sharpened ninth, and you can play it with just a standard triad. You can add the major seventh, the flattened seventh, and the sixth. They all work. You've got to experiment with the voicings that you like as well. I'll give you a few I like. If we're playing, well, if we're playing a 9, those two, any of those. Then you've also got the minors, of course. The minor 7 with a 9, very nice chord, very nice chord. Minor 6, 9. You work between those two, very nice chords. What else we got then? Well, I do like to play around with the 5th a lot. So here's C, here's the 5th up here. Play that with the 9th. And that's really leading on again. A lot of colour to that one as well. You play around with these combos. So the 11th, I only really like it as a minor 7, 11 and 9. So I've actually added the 11th to the 9th. Really nice chord. So there's your 9th. Now I've added the 11th. I didn't have to. Could have just played it without the 9th, but they tend to sound quite good if together, these two. 6, 9. 6, 11, 9. I'm just hearing all sorts of soul tunes from the early 80s with that chord. Then you've got the 13th. Now this is the 6th, an octave higher. Works beautiful if you space the thing out. So I'm playing just a 7, C7. I'm not going to play the 3rd, and I'm going to instead play a 9, just a straight 9, and a 13th. Really sings at the top there, and then you can come down to the 5th, an octave up, so that's the 12th. First heard that at Salvation Army Hall, and I nearly fell off my chair. So what is that called? And I was only about 24 at the time, and after the concert I rushed home and I fiddled until I found it. Oh, it's one of these. Beautiful. So that, now in this tutorial I've covered so far, I've just worked up from the bass note. I haven't done any inversions. You could be doing that if we were playing C9. There's nothing wrong with us starting on the E as a bass. It all depends where your tune's heading, which is a whole different subject. Here we're just covering what the chords are. But where the chords that you heard me playing, I think in that tune before, was this one here. It's a very nice chord. Now that is it's a major seventh. I play it on a C, with the fifth flattened. Let's make sure of that. Sorry, yeah, it is. That's right. So that's a very nice chord. That's only a 4-note chord, but from that I could be adding the ninth again. Very nice singy sort of chord. You've got to experiment, but when you see the ninth in a book, don't forget it's really adding from something like the major seventh, usually, or depending on the tune, if it's a bluesy tune, perhaps just the straight seven, that dominant seven, flattened seventh, that is. So I hope that's given you a flavour for it. The only thing you can really do once you've got this is then learn them in the different keys, obviously, is then start playing. And then and pause. When you're playing, just pause on the sound of something. Do you like the sound of it? Oh, no, before I go, I should tell you about clashy bits. I'll just hint at probably a tutorial to come. So if I played C7-9, I like to play two-handed chords. So it's only the same notes up an octave higher, but look, I'm chucking in that 9 and I'm crowding it with the minor third. Listen to this. Or I could take it out. See, it never quite resolves. That's a beautiful, beautiful way to play. See, I'm a sucker for those crowded ones. Really, depending on what you think of it as, it could be an F minor 7, but I've missed out the F, and I'll probably play it down here. So that's nice, isn't it? And all I've done is I chucked in that second. Now, is that a second or a ninth? Don't know. Doesn't really matter, but it's the same thing. So that's a nice chord. So more to come. Please comment and tell me your thoughts about chords, and if you think I can show you something, I'm happy to do other series, perhaps on combinations of chords, that kind of thing. And I'll see you next time at Sci-Fi Funk.